In March 2025, a seemingly ordinary neighborhood in Meerut, India, became the center of one of the most chilling murder cases the nation had ever witnessed. This is the story of betrayal, deception, and a blue drum that held a horrifying secret. Saurabh Rajput was a 32-year-old former merchant navy officer who had built a respectable life for himself. He had traveled the world, seen the vast oceans, and returned home to settle down with his family in the Brahmpuri locality of Meerut. Saurabh was married to Muskan Rastogi, and together they were raising his 6-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. To outsiders, they appeared to be a normal family, navigating the challenges of everyday life in urban India. But behind closed doors, a sinister plot was unfolding. Muskan had developed a relationship with another man named Sahil Shukla, and their affair would soon turn deadly in ways no one could have imagined. On March 4, 2025, Saurabh Rajput was reported missing by concerned family members. His sudden disappearance raised immediate alarm bells, as he was known to be a responsible father who would never abandon his young daughter without explanation. For days, the family searched desperately for answers. They contacted friends, checked hospitals, and filed a missing person report with the local police. But Saurabh had seemingly vanished without a trace from his own home. The investigation took a bizarre turn on March 19th, when Saurabh's 6-year-old daughter made a statement that would send chills down everyone's spine. In her innocent voice, she told her grandmother something unthinkable. "Papa is in the drum." At first, the family couldn't comprehend what the child meant, but her insistence led investigators to examine a large blue drum that had been sealed with cement and kept inside the house in the Brahmpuri locality. When police officers arrived at the residence and began to investigate the blue drum, they noticed it had been recently sealed. The drum was unusually heavy, and there was a foul odor emanating from it despite the cement seal. What happened next shocked even the most experienced investigators. As they carefully opened the sealed blue drum, they discovered human remains inside. But this was no ordinary discovery. The body had been dismembered into 15 separate pieces. Forensic examination confirmed the investigators' worst fears. The remains belonged to Saurabh Rajput, the missing former Navy officer. He had been murdered, dismembered, and hidden inside the blue drum in his own home for over 2 weeks. The investigation immediately intensified. Police began piecing together the timeline of events leading up to Saurabh's disappearance and the gruesome discovery. Every detail mattered in understanding how such a horrific crime could have occurred. Detectives focused their attention on Muskan Rastogi, Saurabh's wife, and her alleged lover, Sahil Shukla. Both had disappeared around the same time as Saurabh, which raised serious suspicions about their involvement in his death. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered evidence of Muskan's extramarital affair with Sahil. Text messages, call records, and witness testimonies painted a picture of a relationship that had been ongoing for several months before the murder. The investigation revealed a chilling premeditated plan. According to police findings, Muskan and Sahil had carefully plotted Saurabh's murder, planning every detail to ensure they could eliminate him and continue their relationship without interference. On the night of March 4th, the couple executed their deadly plan. They allegedly drugged Saurabh's food, waiting for the sedatives to take effect so he would be unable to defend himself against what was coming next. Once Saurabh was incapacitated by the drugs, Muskan and Sahil attacked him with a butcher's knife. In a brutal assault, they stabbed him multiple times in the heart, ensuring there would be no chance of survival or recovery. But the violence didn't end with the stabbing. To make absolutely certain Saurabh was dead, they slit his throat. The former Navy officer who had survived dangerous seas and naval service was killed in his own home by the woman he trusted. After committing the murder, the couple faced a new challenge, disposing of the body. They couldn't simply remove it from the house without risking detection by neighbors or family members who might come looking for Saurabh. This is when they decided on their horrifying solution. Over the next several hours, Muskan and Sahil dismembered Saurabh's body into 15 separate pieces, using tools they had prepared specifically for this purpose. The dismemberment process was methodical and calculated. They worked through the night, cutting through bone and tissue, transforming a human being into pieces small enough to fit inside the blue drum they had purchased earlier. Once all 15 pieces were placed inside the drum, they sealed it with cement, believing this would contain the evidence of their crime and prevent the smell of decomposition from alerting anyone to what they had done. With the body hidden inside the sealed drum, Muskan and Sahil attempted to flee. They left the house, abandoning the 6-year-old daughter, and tried to escape the area before anyone could connect them to Saurabh's disappearance. But they had made one critical mistake. They underestimated the intelligence and awareness of the 6-year-old child who had witnessed parts of their horrific crime. The little girl knew something terrible had happened to her father. When the grandmother came to check on the family after Saurabh's disappearance was reported, the young girl revealed what she had seen. Despite her trauma, she was able to tell investigators exactly where her father's body could be found. A massive manhunt was launched to locate Muskan Rastogi and Sahil Shukla. Police issued alerts across multiple states, shared photographs with law enforcement agencies, and monitored transportation hubs to prevent the suspects from leaving the country. The case quickly gained national attention. News media across India covered the story, and the details of the Blue Drum murder shocked the entire nation. People couldn't believe the level of brutality and betrayal involved in the crime. Social media erupted with discussions about trust in marriage and relationships. The case became a catalyst for broader conversations about domestic violence, infidelity, and the warning signs that might indicate a dangerous relationship. Within days of the discovery, police successfully tracked down and arrested both Muskan Rastogi and Sahil Shukla. They were attempting to flee to another state when law enforcement officers intercepted them at a bus station. During interrogation, both suspects initially denied any involvement in Saurabh's death. They claimed they had left the house because of marital problems and insisted they knew nothing about the Blue Drum or its contents. However, as investigators presented the mounting evidence against them, including forensic findings, witness statements, and the testimony of the 6-year-old daughter, the suspects' stories began to crumble under scrutiny. Eventually, faced with overwhelming evidence, Muskan Rastogi confessed to the crime. She provided details about how they had planned the murder, purchased the drum and tools in advance, and executed their deadly scheme on March 4th. Sahil Shukla also confessed, corroborating Muskan's account of events. He admitted to his role in the murder, the dismemberment, and the attempt to conceal the body inside the cement-sealed blue drum. Forensic experts worked tirelessly to gather evidence that would be admissible in court. They collected DNA samples, fingerprints, and other physical evidence that definitively linked both suspects to the crime scene and the murder weapon. The butcher's knife used in the attack was recovered during a search of a location connected to Sahil. Forensic analysis confirmed the presence of Saurabh's blood on the blade, providing crucial physical evidence for the prosecution. Psychologists were brought in to evaluate the young daughter who had witnessed aspects of the crime. They worked carefully to help her process the trauma, while ensuring her testimony could be properly documented for the legal proceedings. The case raised important questions about child safety in domestic situations. How had a 6-year-old been exposed to such violence? What could have been done to protect her from witnessing such a traumatic event in her own home? Legal experts began analyzing the case, noting that both suspects would likely face the maximum penalties under Indian law. The premeditated nature of the crime, combined with its brutal execution, suggested this would be treated as a capital offense. Saurabh's extended family struggled to cope with the loss. They had not only lost a son and brother, but had lost him in one of the most horrific ways imaginable, murdered by his own wife in a crime that shocked the conscience. The community in Brahmpuri was left reeling from the revelation that such a heinous crime had occurred in their midst. Neighbors who had seen Muskan and Saurabh regularly couldn't reconcile the woman they knew with the murderer she had become. The case also sparked debates about the death penalty in India. Many argued that crimes of this nature, premeditated, brutal, and involving dismemberment, warranted capital punishment as a deterrent to others who might consider similar acts. As the investigation concluded and the case moved to prosecution, investigators praised the bravery of the 6-year-old girl. Despite her trauma and the loss of her father, her testimony had been crucial in bringing the perpetrators to justice. The trial began several months after the arrests. Prosecutors presented a mountain of evidence, including the forensic findings, confessions, witness testimonies, and the physical evidence of the blue drum and the murder weapon itself. Defense attorneys struggled to mount an effective defense given the overwhelming evidence and their clients' confessions. They attempted to argue for reduced sentences based on various mitigating factors, but faced an uphill battle. The case continued to dominate headlines throughout the trial period. Public opinion was firmly against the accused, with many calling for swift justice and maximum punishment for the brutal murder of an innocent man. Victims' rights advocates used the case to highlight the need for better protections for individuals trapped in dangerous domestic situations, even when the danger comes from an intimate partner who is supposed to provide love and safety. The Meerut Blue Drum case became a reference point in criminology studies across India. It was analyzed in police training programs as an example of how careful investigation and attention to witness statements, even from young children, can solve complex cases. Mental health professionals studied the psychological profiles of the perpetrators, trying to understand what drives individuals to commit such extreme acts of violence against their own family members, and then attempt to conceal the evidence so callously. The case also led to discussions about the role of forensic science in modern criminal investigations. The ability to extract DNA evidence, analyze blood spatter patterns, and determine time of death through various methods was crucial in securing convictions. For the young daughter left behind, advocacy groups and child welfare organizations worked to ensure she received proper psychological support and was placed in a safe, nurturing environment where she could begin to heal from the trauma she experienced. The blue drum itself became a symbol of the case, a stark reminder of how ordinary objects can become instruments of concealment in extraordinary crimes, and how even the most careful criminals can be caught through diligent police work. As the legal proceedings continued, the case served as a grim reminder that betrayal can come from the most unexpected sources, and that trust, once broken in such a violent manner, leaves scars not just on individuals, but on entire communities. The Meerut Blue Drum case will be remembered as one of 2025's most shocking crimes, a case that combined elements of domestic violence, premeditated murder, and an attempt at concealment that ultimately failed due to the courage of a 6-year-old child. This case stands as a testament to the importance of listening to all witnesses, no matter how young, and to the dedication of law enforcement officers who work tirelessly to bring justice to victims of violent crime and their families.